Babies, something I do not want in real life at all. But in The Sims, maybe I do. Or not babies, infants to be exact. That's right, we are getting a brand new life stage in The Sims 4 called Infants. This has been confirmed by Sim Guru Frost, an EA employee who works on The Sims. Infants will be added. I'm dyslexic, I cannot read properly. Infants will be a new life stage added to The Sims 4. So the object babies in The Sims 4 right now, they're not going. That's right, they are still here to haunt us. Infants will basically, I assume, be a life stage above babies, but before toddlers. For a long time now, Simmers have been asking for a new life stage in The Sims 4, and they've actually been asking for preteens, so EA half got the memo. They half got it. You gotta give them that. Usually they don't get the memo at all, but this time they got half the memo. People have been complaining for a very, very long time, and the way I see it, guys, they could basically remove babies as they are, and they can recode everything to do with babies, or they could just make a new life stage. So from that perspective, I can see why they've made a new life stage. Obviously, as you can see from the video as well, there is a crib, which means, yes, we will be able to put babies in and out of them. Finally, it has been a long time coming. The Sims 2 was like the first time we ever got proper babies. I'm just looking at this article on the Sims wiki. In the Sims 2 free time, this object exists. Will we get that in the Sims 4? I hope so. Thank you, by the way. I haven't even asked their permission. Thank you to the Sims wiki. Literally, guys, the Sims wiki is the best guide for any kind of Sims stuff. Of course, in the Sims 3 Generations, we also had a stroller. That's right, my Wi-Fi's so bad the image hasn't loaded yet. Do you know what? Where I live in my hometown, we still don't even have fiber optics yet. It is that bad. Oh no, now it's here. So as you can see, in the Sims 3 Generations, you could take babies on strollers. Will this happen in the Sims 4 with infancy? I feel like they need to, and I think a lot of Simmers will be really disappointed because we've technically already received the Generations pack in terms of high school years and parenthood split. So if EA do not give us a stroller, or at least, what are those things called where they play with it? One of those toys where they lie down and play? Like, we need something. I think it would be a kick in the teeth if we just got infants and a crib. I think it would be the lazy way out for sure. And unfortunately, I think the Sims team did do that with toddlers. You know, when toddlers first came out in that update years after the Sims 4 was actually released, they didn't update any of the base game for toddlers. They didn't really give us any toddler stuff. All we had was a toddler stuff pack, so you actually had to buy DLC for the base game feature to feel full, which was ridiculous. Even now, we basically do not get any kind of toddler stuff at all, so I don't really have high hopes. Obviously, it's very early stages yet. The Infants update is coming out in the start of the year, so we've got a few months before they get it out. Twitter, being Twitter, is full of negativity. Somebody says, please update the original baby design, which again, I totally agree. The original babies in The Sims 4 look literally terrifying. Like, they literally look like dolls. I mean, they are objects, so technically they are. Obviously, there are going to be a couple of concerns. Firstly is an aging concern, which I've seen a lot of people talk about. If there's a brand new life stage, will it mess up aging? In other words, by the time the baby becomes an infant to a toddler to a child, like, are their parents just going to die? Do you know what I mean? That is an issue, and I hope that the Sims team look into that. Also, will we be able to get them and create them in CAS? Right now, obviously, you can't create babies in CAS because they're not a life stage, they're an object. Sorry, I'm going to stop doing that. Will we be able to create these infants? I feel like we should be able to. In no previous Sims game have we ever been able to, but having a baby is like one of the most popular things to do in The Sims 4, so I think it would make it a lot easier for Simmers just to jump straight into the gameplay for that if they want to. I'm just worried because obviously we don't want another rehash of the toddler update where we get upsold toddler DLC and then they just forget about them. Or we've got the high school years teen pack, but other than that, there's no gameplay for teens. We don't even have any gameplay for child Sims yet. I do feel like perhaps EA is getting a little bit too carried away. I mean, we don't know what the update's going to be, but as of yet, I'm just not sure. And I think it's really important to wait until they bring in gameplay because, as we all know, The Sims is getting updated with a lot of stuff, like even more stuff than previous games in the Sims series, but there's just no gameplay. Do I want infants? Yes, I do. I think it would be a really, really fun addition to gameplay. And honestly, I actually don't mind if infants are a separate life stage to babies, because I know some people just like to have their babies stuck in a crib. So from that perspective, like, I get it. But gameplay is the most important thing. The Sims 4 is a game, not a life simulation. It is a life simulation game. Simulation should be an adjective, not a noun in this respect. Obviously, right now, if we look at toddlers, by the way, there's still some issues with them. For example, did you know know that if you go to a community lot, they have to have a normal toilet, but they don't have to have a potty for toddlers, which means that toddlers technically can't really relieve themselves in a lot of the community lots. Also, will they engage in cross-pack compatibility? Will we be able to have hybrids? For example, a hybrid infant that's like a hybrid alien, hybrid vampire, which will have cute vampire teeth, because I know a lot of Sims will want that. Obviously, the most recent occults of werewolves, they didn't really get updated for kids or toddlers, so that's probably not going to be happening. Is there going to be any cross-pack compatibility with pets? These are all things I want to know. Obviously, The Sims 4 is a very, very big game right now with a lot of packs and a lot of updates, and whenever you add a brand new feature to the base game, you've got to make it compatible with all those things, because even though each single pack is a separate entity, one thing that they all have in common is that they must interact with the base game. It's all well said and done if they add infants in the game, which you can pick up and put in cribs and they can play on the floor or whatever, but if there's no challenge with them, what's the point? I'm also very, very, very curious about parenthood. This pack is all about looking after children. With a new child life stage, will parenthood be updated? These are all things that I am very much hopeful for, but I'm also really, really sure that probably not that much is going to come of this update. And obviously it does take a lot of work to add a brand new life stage in The Sims 4. Like, that is a lot, but I would honestly rather they came out with this update later than sooner if it meant that we got more stuff to it. Because what the Sims team do often do, which is their bad, is they put in a feature and they say, here's a feature, we'll update it as we go along, but they don't update it as they go along. They just forget about it because it's not in their budget, time, resources, or whatever. But at the least, I do think it gives us hope that the Sims team are open to bringing in more life stages. Of course, now the game is free. They're bringing in more players into the game and they have more impressionable minds to sell DLC to and make more money from their perspective. So if they're happy enough to bring us a brand new infant's life stage, perhaps next year or in 2 years, God forbid, The Sims 4 is still alive in 2 years, God forbid. But perhaps at some point we may even get preteens. That is something that has been very, very much requested ever since The Sims 2 days, would you believe? And we haven't got it yet. But hey, I just wanted to share my concerns with you, and I hope EA watches this because I know they watch some of my videos. I really want the infants update to be really, really good. I want it to be cross-pack compatible. I want it to have loads of gameplay. I want loads of base games updates around it. I want some activities for infants. If we don't get that, I will be unhappy. EA, please give us activities for them, I beg. What do you think? I'm very curious, so let me know down below. By the way, have you ever wondered how many people I've had sex with? What you haven't wondered? Well, I'm forcing you to find out the answer by clicking on my latest video on my second channel answering your deeply uncomfortable questions. Usually I just use this channel for YouTube Shorts, but recently I've been uploading some vlog style content as well. I've also uploaded my Edinburgh vlog. I've also done a really depressing video where I've cried talking about my life. Also, I'm going to be uploading a video soon talking about my time in Japan and how it all went a little bit downhill at the end. So if you are interested, please go follow Satch on stuff. And linking back to this video, if you didn't see the Sims Summit and everything that happened, including a Sims 5 announcement, make sure you check out the update on it there. Otherwise, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.